talk about social and emotional learning, I'd like to share with you why SEL. Can I invite you into my classroom? Yes? Yes. Great. May I request us all to please close our eyes. Place your right hand over your heart and focus your consciousness there. Now take one deep breath. In, out. Now imagine yourself back when you were a 10-year-old little human, naive and unaware of what life takes you. Now please repeat this after me. I love me. I love me. I love me. You may now open your eyes, drop your hand as we continue. I had almost the same meditative request for my middle school class that I taught a few years back. And on the first day of school, I asked my scholars to look at a picture of little humans for about 5 seconds. Then choose someone to be your friend or boyfriend or girlfriend or no one to you at all. The student quickly raised his hand and with a puzzled look on his face, he said, Mr. Hall, I don't think I need this class. Which led me to think that either he was really nervous about picking imaginary friends on the first day of school, or that he was secretly a sensei. And clearly he thought this class was going to be a waste of his time. Hopefully we are not all senseis in SEL in this room, and we can engage in this moment together. Why? Why is it that we can look at someone do the impossible when we ourselves cannot even see possible? Why is it that some humans can control their emotional responses during a crisis? Why is it that some of us can tap into our higher critical thinking, that prefrontal cortex higher brain power function, while some of us ignore basic thinking? Why is it that two people can exist in relationship and one can say, I love myself, whilst the other cannot even utter the words, I love myself? I found myself repeatedly asking why as I mentored young girls in Cleveland, Ohio during the summer of 2009. Why did these 12 and 13 and 14-year-old girls develop low self-esteem and a reduced sense of self-worth? I decided, I'm going to provide some SEL workshops to help them build their emotional intelligence. And after weeks of it, I started to see signs of a positive attitude and self-management techniques being put into practice. At the end of the summer, I reflected on this. I reflected on what we just experienced. And I could not for the life of me understand the why, neither the how. How did they reach a point in their life where on one end, exponential growth was imminent, yet on the other end, their emotional quotient had dwindled away? Why is it that I could be other little humans that could see self-worth and exhibit empathy towards others and love rather than hate, while meeting these little humans that could not get past I'm ugly or I'm stupid or that's not possible? It was in that moment of asking why that I saw the true value in developing the emotional quotient over their intelligent quotient. I decided to discover why SEL and devoted the next 13 years to developing life's ultimate ingredient to the human quotient, social and emotional learning. It was in that moment I decided to be an agent of change. I went from a place of wonder and lack of knowledge to now a space of awareness and advocacy. And if you'd allow me, I'd like to share with you the what, when, where, who, and how, and why SEL is vital to each and every one of us in this room, and vital to incorporating it into every tier of our society. Let's start with the what. What is SEL? SEL stands for Social and Emotional Learning. And I defined SEL as the measured process through which an individual Well, a human being develops and effectively applies the chosen attitude, behavior, knowledge, and skills necessary to 1, think positive, 2, understand and regulate emotions, 3, declare and achieve goals, 4, empathize and respect others, 5, seek and engage in positive relationships, and 6, consistently make constructive and responsible decisions. Looking at our diagram here, we see that SEL is comprised of 5 parts. Those 5 parts include self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. It also includes a scholar, mentors, and guardians alike. Now, most of you have to be thinking this. Wow, Jabari Hall, I mean, this guy must have started SEL. I mean, he's brilliant, isn't he? And most of you would be correct in knowing that I did not start SEL. SEL's history dates back to the 1960s in the US. James Comer and the child study team of Yale School of Medicine in New Haven, Connecticut, they conducted the conceptual SEL. And once success was seen, the use of SEL began to expand. 2 decades later, pioneers like T. Shriver and Dr. Weisberg further developed the concept. And less than a decade later, the 1994 group CASEL was formed. And couple CASEL with Daniel Goldman's 1995 book, Emotional Intelligence, Where It Can Be Better Than IQ, and SEL was propelled into mainstream education. Today, parts of SEL is used in over 120 countries. Countries like New Zealand and Australia and across Europe and Asia have tapped into the purpose of SEL. Here on the continent of Africa, countries like this great one, Ghana, Gambia and Guinea, and Kenya, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone, and South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia have tapped into the well that is social and emotional learning. Background from the US, I've partnered with over 200 schools and organizations to show them why we do SEL, how we do SEL, and who is truly impacted by the use of SEL in their community. Let's talk about the who. SEL, social and emotional learning, is critical to the emotional, mental, and yes, physical growth of every one of us. I am of the firm belief that the answer to all of those rhetorical why questions I asked in the beginning is because in some way, each one of us in here received some measure of social and emotional learning that increased our ability to be exceptional human beings. SEL allows us to push past routine expectancy of human development. It encourages the whole child to develop a level of empathy and growth at an early age. It increases an adult's emotional capacity to understand their child's choices. And it gives access to more self-control and a desire to love self while respecting others. It interacts with the 4 lobes of our brain, and it allows each one of us to see that we too can be agents of change, but also agents for change. It allows us to also help answer the how in our lives. So how do I SEL? I recommend SEL by implementing it from the birth of a child through positive expectations and a focus on their needs. And as they grow up, I emphasize a positive attitude, a level of self-belief, and a commitment to their dreams. For leaders in education, I implore a duty to build a universal culture of care, universal language, and a culture of care. For parents, I advise them to have a safe and experiential learning environment. My suggestion for you all is to adopt SEL so that we of this nation can make ways for creating a space for implementing SEL in our schools. Because it is in doing the what, when, where, who, and how that gets us to understand the purpose of SEL, i.e. the why. On one hand of SEL, there are the benefits. Researchers in the US at Loyola University did a study showing that students who received SEL in their school improved an average of 11% on their state academic exams. Here on this continent, schools in Kenya are seeing education improve as students from urban settlements get experience from going outside and performing activities. Organizations like Bridge Africa Foundation are increasing education through SEL. And globally, SEL shows that it can reduce substance abuse, delinquency, child aggression, violence, and lowers levels of anxiety. On the other end of why SEL, I emphasize emotional balance, energy to help us find the self-motivation that we need. It is right there on this other side that helps us reach these benefits and improve upon them to maintain and reach a measurable amount of success. It is on this end where I help students recognize their true power and discover their why. See, SEL isn't just an idea conceived and proven to show results. No. SEL is life's ultimate ingredient to develop the human quotient. The human quotient. Human quotient means the amount of a characteristic. Human means you and I, where thoughts, they become matter. Human quotient, characteristic, thought. SEL develops the thought characteristic. It allows all of us in here to see and think impossible, yet see, think, and believe that yes, I'm possible. SEL brought me here from America to Ghana to speak to 2 schools and this TEDx conference. SEL takes a man like Kofi living in the US to come back to start Ghana, one of Ghana's first 100% plastic-free food delivery companies to fight against the plastic epidemic. SEL takes a man named Kojo from the financial headquarters of New York City to come back to Ghana to create a TEDx opportunity and bring hundreds of change agents together. SEL takes all of these speakers, these agents of change today, from people who did not believe that they could become, to now seeing that they are humans that have become. SEL, if implemented in schools across Ghana, which is a mission of mine, can take each and every one of us here from seeing the current status of our country to believe in the triumphant glory of our country. It can take a young man from a desolate place of wrongdoing to a bright future of king-like work. It could bring a young girl from a place of I'm ugly or I'm stupid or that's not possible to the cover of every magazine on this planet, or even a Ugandan chess champion, a Fiona Nunsi. You want to know why, SEL? I take you back to the beginning of where I asked you to place your hand over your heart, to take a deep breath and to imagine yourself as a 10-year-old little human. I ask you because as I was wrapping up one of my speeches this year, a 14-year-old girl gave me a heart pendant from around her neck. See, when she was a 10-year-old little human, I went to her school to talk about bullying. I educated them first, but I begged and pleaded that you, at 10 years old, if you can say every day that I love me, that no matter what anyone says to you or thought of you, that I promise you that you believe it before you know it. She told me that she held on to her heart pendant every time someone doubted her. And she recited those words, I love me. I love me. I love me. And now, as a 14-year-old, after she started as a 10-year-old little human, can now say that she loves herself. It is the same heart pendant that I wear around my neck today. So please, again, I request that you place your hand on your heart. Imagine yourself as a 10-year-old little human. Imagine that someone that was passionate about social and emotional learning came to your school, your organization, or this TEDx opportunity to share why SEL is vital to all of us. Can you dream and believe like that little 10-year-old human? What impact can and will these words mean upon your heart? Imagine yourself 4 years from now. What kind of change agent will you be? What life will you have spoken into you? See, I imagine myself as a 10-year-old little human daily. I imagined it before I got on this stage today. And I'll hold on to this heart and imagine that every 10 12, 13, or 14-year-old little human hearing this will hold on to their heart and say, I love me. And believe in themselves so much that they too can stand on a stage like this, expressing why they are agents for change. And maybe they, you can start with YSEL.